Wow, we have learned a lot in Adobe Premiere Pro in this course, and I really hope that you've enjoyed it so far. In this lesson, I want to show you how to quickly export a high quality and small file size video, perfect for uploading online to share your video with the world. In the next lesson, I will be walking through all of the export options to explain them further. But really for this one, I just want to show you exactly what to do so you can do it quickly. The first thing you want to do is go through your timeline and set in and out points for your export. So go to the very beginning, press I on your keyboard to set an in point, then go to the very end and maybe a few frames after the end and press O for the out point. This means that it will only export this portion of your timeline and it won't include any music or clips or anything you have to the right of your timeline that you don't want actually part of your export. Then go up to File, Export, Media, or press Command M on your computer or Control M if you're on a PC. First, you want to go to Format up here, make sure it's on H.264. Then under preset, go down to YouTube 1080p HD. So you see all of these presets. These are great quick ways to export for specific devices. They've got everything from Apple iPad, Vimeo, TiVo, Android. But in general, if you just use the YouTube 1080p HD setting, this is going to create a very high quality file that's good for practically any of these devices. Note though that for our video that we're working on right now, 1080p is actually larger than our sequence setting. Remember when we set our sequence settings, it was 640 by 360, and you can see that actually right here. So this is actually going to stretch it up to 1920 by 1080, which isn't really making it HD. So for this project, these might not actually be the best settings. But for any video that you shoot on your phone or a modern DSLR, you probably are going to be shooting at this setting, the 1920 by 1080 dimensions. And this YouTube 1080p HD preset is the perfect one for that. Click on this output name, and this is where you can choose where you want to save it and name your file. So Anthony Doc, I'll save it to my desktop. Just click save. We do want to export video and audio. We're skipping over a lot of this stuff right here, but make sure that this width and height is 1920 by 1080, or if you want it to be smaller, you can. So for us, we actually might want to make this 640 by 360, but if you're again, if you're recording a typical video that you shot on a different camera and it's not compressed, 1920 by 1080 is good. If you scroll down in this window, you'll see two settings that I might consider increasing. One is this bitrate encoding. Go from VBR1 pass to VBR2 pass. Under here, you want to check use maximum render quality, and up here you render at maximum depth. All of these check marks and checking these boxes and changing this to 2-pass, it doesn't increase the size of the file, which is estimated down here, but it will make it look better. It will make the colors come out better. It will make it more sharp. Everything that just slightly, you might not be able to notice it, especially if you're watching it on just a phone or on YouTube. But if you're watching it on a high resolution screen, you probably will be able to notice some minor differences when you check all these boxes versus not. The downside is that it does take longer to export. So if you need to export faster, you can uncheck those and it will still be high quality HD. But for now, this is good. And leave this target bit rate right here at 16 and the maximum bit rate at 16. 16 is a good number for 1920 by 1080 videos. If you're exporting 4K footage, this should be higher, maybe around 25 or so. But for our purposes, 16 is good. And then just click this export button. If you hit Q, which is totally fine, you can hit this Q button and it will take it to media encoder to export. But if you want to just export it quickly right within Premiere Pro, just click export. It's going to start exporting. It's going to do the passes through the audio and the video, and then once it's done, it will be on your desktop. Thanks for watching. I know this lesson actually is a little bit longer than I was hoping it to be, but I wanted to talk through a couple of those things. In the next lesson, I'm going to walk through more of these settings and specifically the render queue with a media encoder. Thanks, and we'll see you then.